Have you ever thought about how we invest in relationships? It's interesting because we often use words like investment when talking about love, friendship, or family, just like we do when talking about money, education, or health. But what exactly does that mean? Unlike financial investments, where you can measure profits, losses, or returns, emotional investments are far more intangible. They're not something you can put a number on, yet they play a huge role in our lives. When we invest in relationships, we're investing our time, our attention, our social connections, our passion, our affection, even our spirit and soul. These are not things you can easily quantify, and yet they are very real investments that shape the quality of our connections with others. The fascinating part about relationships is that unlike other investments, we actually expect a return, not in money, but in reciprocal emotional effort. We want the time, attention, energy, and care that we put in to be reflected back to us, ideally in equal or greater measure. Imagine going to a gym or enrolling in a course. You invest your money and time, but the gym or school isn't really concerned about your personal progress beyond the basic service. In relationships, it's different. There's a sense of mutual responsibility and involvement, and if it's one sided, we start to question why we're investing at all. This is like triggering a stop loss in trading. We notice when our efforts are not being matched, and it naturally makes us reconsider how much more we should invest. At the same time, relationships rarely work like financial markets, where you book a profit and walk away. If a connection seems promising and valuable, the natural response is to invest even more, to nurture it and to grow it. Settling for small crumbs of attention or care is rarely acceptable, and most of us call it out when a friend or partner consistently underinvests in us. In that sense, emotional investments are about continuous engagement rather than one-time gains. What's truly remarkable is how these investments shape our emotional world. We learn about trust, reciprocity, patience, and boundaries. We understand what it means to give without expecting exact returns. Yet we also recognize when a relationship is unbalanced and needs reassessment. Emotional investments, unlike financial ones, require an ongoing commitment to the relationship's health and growth. They remind us that some of the most valuable returns in life aren't measured in money or material benefits, but in genuine human connection, care, and mutual respect. So, the takeaway here is simple but powerful. Emotional investments are real investments, but the rules are different. You can't calculate them precisely, you can't liquidate them for cash, and you rarely book profits. What you can do is be mindful of where you invest your time, energy, and love, and pay attention to whether it's being reciprocated. Healthy relationships are those where mutual investment creates a cycle of care, attention, and emotional growth, and that is perhaps the most rewarding return we can ever receive.
This information is brought to you by Ramakrishna Surathu, author of the book You Are God, founder, developer, and chief executive officer of the self sustainable city